Hi guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Maboa and today we're going to be talking about Donald Trump yet again. I think it was 4 or 5 days ago since I uploaded my last video when it comes to Donald Trump and his inauguration, the TikTok ban, the inauguration and then the aftermath of Donald Trump being the president within 4 or 5 days after the inauguration. And a lot have happened since that last video, so I thought it was time to make another video, and this is crazy what has been happening the last 5 days, so I thought we should talk about it and react to some of the videos that I found. And just because I feel like it's quite heavy and just everything that's going on is quite crazy in America, I just feel like we should start up lightheartedly with a little clip. And this Trump supporters never really makes sense. I've seen a lot of videos of Trump supporters and their views and why they're supporting Trump, and they are just crazy. I don't really feel like a lot of them know what they're supporting. So we're going to be reacting to that, and I feel like it's going to be a good little start. And I also want to say that it's so weird because whenever I see these Trump supporters, I really feel like they remind me of, if you are on Twitter or any other social media platforms and you're very much like a little bit within the rap scene when it comes to like the music, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, when that whole beef happened, you would probably see how Nicki Minaj fans are. They're very much untouched, delusional, just they're very much attached to Nicki Minaj, and regardless if she would burn the whole country down, they will still support her because they're just so attached to her as a person. And I really feel like the Trump supporters are very much like that when it comes to Donald Trump. But the difference is that Donald Trump is a president, and as we can see the last 14 days, the things that he has revoked when it comes to the law is just not something that should be taken lightly. Whereas Nicki Minaj and her fan base, the way they were trolling Megan Thee Stallion, it was crazy and it was out of touch. It's not the same things as revoking basic human rights. It's not the same thing. So let's just jump right into it and see what's going on in America. I just recorded for 30 minutes without recording anything. I was giving you guys like...
Came here legally. As long as Jesus Christ came to this country legally.
I know, I've seen the Danish version of this. I've seen the Danish version of this, and they are just... Nothing makes... They're just... Here's the thing, and it's not even like... This just comes to like whatever. If you're extreme, nothing good is gonna come out of it. Like if I meet someone and they are just extreme, but like if you're a spiritual person and you're extreme when it comes to that, I don't want to have anything to do with you. If you're religious and you're extreme with that, I don't want to have anything to do with you. If you love the country you're from and you're very extremist about it, I don't trust anything you have to say about that country. Like this is just what that is.
Of course I would.
As long as he went through the proper, as long as he went
As long as you went through the proper way.
Here legally. As long as Jesus Christ came to this country legally.
Jesus. I didn't even question who Jesus is. Like, no. I didn't even question. No, they didn't even ask why he's asking about Jesus. Jesus is not here. Here. This is like something I found out the other day, and this is basically Donald Trump being questioned regarding the plane crash. There was a plane crash in Washington DC where a plane was landing and a helicopter was rising up, and then they collided and then everything went into the water and people died, and I think it was like 6 or 7 people, which is really, really sad. And they're saying it's because the water was so cold that people died in the water. But it just seems fishy with the whole accident. There's clips of it and the lights of the airplane. You cannot not see it from the helicopter. I don't understand how it happened. I don't understand how it could happen. People are saying it's something that was planned. Knowing Donald Trump and everything that has been inspiring since, and with his play with numbers, because Elon Musk is really good with those computers, that's what he said, saying that he played with the numbers when it came to voting for presidency. I feel like a lot of things should speak for itself, and also we're gonna read some of the comments. A lot of things has happened when it comes to who's in charge of the Air Force and all of that. We're gonna see that, but let's see what he has to say when asked about the accident.
Today blamed the diversity elements, but then told us that you weren't sure that the controllers made any mistake. We then said perhaps the helicopter pilots were the ones who made the mistake.
It's all under investigation.
I understand that. That's why I'm trying to figure out how you can...
Ugh, that orange man, that freaking tan. I just don't understand how that man steps out of the door with that tan. And here's the thing, I wear makeup, but sometimes when I wear makeup, sometimes if I wear a little bit too much with the foundation, I feel uncomfortable having to walk out the door. This man is wearing an orange suit on his face with this spray tan, and he's comfortable with it. I don't understand. And I saw this clip, which is also really weird. This is like another thing in that little play, because they're very much like Donald Trump and his family is very much like the puppet master, and the Americans, the country is just a little play. And another thing within that play is Ivanka Trump all of a sudden showed up and like this very much this couple and their podcast on YouTube talking about her upbringing, and her mom has been on the Wendy Williams show, and her mom didn't have anything positive to say about Donald Trump. And
I don't know what is Melania's problem. She just has to get over it. She's First Lady of America, but I'm First Lady Trump. Excuse me. Well, I have 3 grown-up kids.
Yeah, she is Ivanka Trump, speaking highly of her dad and her endeavors in business and all of that, and how she is happy that her businesses went really, really well, even though she doesn't have any experience with businesses. And it's like, bitch, your last name is Trump. Are you crazy? You're a fucking Nepo baby. How can you even speak like that? Of course it's gonna go well. Even if you don't name the brand after yourself, the fact that you're gonna sit there with people that are gonna investors or whatever, how you did your businesses, they know you are Ivanka Trump. It's gonna always have a benefit for you. What are you even on about? It's not making any sense. But what I wanted to say is that it's weird how she showed up in that podcast, because it's very much out of the blue why she would show up in that podcast, and just podcasts in general, because we haven't seen her speak like that before. Another thing is, she's actually very pretty, but her prettiness I feel like came later on in life. I don't know why I'm talking about that all of a sudden. It came on later in life because she didn't look like that in her younger age. She very much looks like her mom in the way that she has these features that are very much like her mom. So I could definitely see how there's like a tie with how she's glamorous, and her mom used to be glamorous when she grew up and stuff like that, because I saw the full interview. But another thing is that I don't understand how this man is the dad of that, because she's actually really pretty, and the way that she carries herself, I really, really like that. But I don't understand how this man, Donald Trump, is connection to that, the genes. It doesn't make any sense, but let's see what his man has to say about the plane crash.
To the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash.
Because I have common sense, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of people don't.
He's so sick. He's so sick. The only thing this man does not have is common sense. Clown. Exactly. Well said, Trump from the UK. What? The thing is, you know, when a Trump supporter is like watching your video, because I've gotten a amount of dislikes, and I just know it's Trump supporters that are just looking for videos against Trump, and they definitely are trying to go against me with my videos, but I don't care. It's like the proof is in the pudding. I don't know why. Yeah. Okay. I have no words for this man. What a moron. Exactly. Wow. OMG, who would even agree with him regarding this tragedy? I'm so upset, angry, and sad for those lost and their loved ones.
It's really meant.
This is crazy. Birthright citizenship, the rule when it comes to that. I thought it has been revoked. He was trying to revoke it, but it didn't get revoked. This is the kind of man we're talking about. He's trying to revoke the rights to citizenship.
Children of slaves. This is when it happened. The children of slaves. It was not meant for everyone to come into our country by airplane or charging across the borders all over the world and think they're going to become citizens. It's not meant for that. It wasn't meant for that. It was really meant for children of slaves. This is when it happened. The children of slaves. It was not meant for everyone to come into our country by airplane or charging across the borders from all over the world and think they're going to become citizens. It's not meant for that. It wasn't meant for that.
She's trying to change that because a lot of immigrants, illegal people that are coming into the country, illegal, legal immigrants, some of them are pregnant, so what they do is that when they come in, they get the children, then the children get citizenship. You're not going to split their mom or dad from the children, so they will also get the rights to be in the country. Some people do it that way, and he's trying to make sure that that cannot happen. And I'm just thinking to myself, if someone is pregnant and then from one country to another, there must be a reason why they would want to do that in their full-on pregnancy. They would walk through fields of no land. What? I just don't understand this, man. It's so crazy to me. I can't even word what I'm trying to express my feelings, but it's so crazy. Someone commented, what did he just say? It's been 9 days. Crying emoji. I'm exhausted. Someone said, 14th Amendment is for everyone. We're gonna have an understanding of what that means later on in the video. My gasp. And I wasn't talking about. Did not see that coming. Exactly. This is insane. What's the context of this? We saw it coming. Oh, that is not it. Exactly, my jaw is intact. It's crazy. So we're gonna see this woman and we're gonna see what she has to say, and this makes really like, it just puts everything in perspective, and the history of birthright of citizenship, I think it's called birthrights. It really just put everything in perspective, and again, black people's in the forefront, not because I'm a black pro person, but a lot of things are based on, and a lot of things that have pushed the boundaries and just made things better for people in general are based on black people. I'm just saying. If it's from America, if it's from another country, you can best believe that a black person was in the forefront.
Donald Trump is opening up a can of worms that I have not seen any other politician ever speak on. When it comes to this birthright issue, he is basically saying that the Birthright Amendment, the 14th Amendment, was created for slaves.
The only country that has it to that extent, and it wasn't meant, if you look, it was really meant for children of slaves. This is when it happened, the children of slaves. It was not meant for everyone to come into our country by airplane or...
And it's crazy because you got Ann Coulter, of all people, saying that black Americans are basically being used, by other people to come here and get these rights. And it's interesting because the 13th Amendment that emancipated us was in 1865. And the 14th Amendment that gave these rights of citizenship was in 1868, 3 years later. So clearly, and even when you read on it, it was clearly to address the people that had been free of slavery, and now, of course, they had to deal with issues of citizenship. And it just trips me how I don't want to start trouble, but just how people have not honored our ancestors. And at the end of the day, come to find out, so many people have been able to immigrate and get citizenship in this country because of our ancestors. Isn't that a beautiful thing? But have they been honored? And now the fact that it's being taken away, I just don't know what to say. But it's an argument that I never understood until now. And no, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump, but you can't argue history. Thanks to my ancestors for everything that they sacrificed to give me.
She's right, you cannot argue history, and the fact that Donald Trump is trying to do this is crazy. But another reason why he's in the position why he can do this, because of Latinos. If the Latinos really just were conscious and fully aware of their own situation and why they can be in that country, why they can go from Mexico to America, being fully pregnant, 9 months pregnant, get in front of the line, get into America, give birth to a child, have rights to be there within a blink of an eye, that is because of history like that. That is the reason why they can do that. But a lot of them are just delusional, and given what I've seen from the outside, throughout the years and just know the different layers of America, I can definitely say with confidence, I feel like a lot of them see themselves passing as white. They see themselves not being an immigrant. They see themselves having fully rights in ways that people that they keep voting for will not see them having the same kind of rights, and they're gonna see and suffer from it now. They're gonna see the hard way how that is, because when it comes to this right, this is not gonna affect African Americans. This is not gonna affect African Americans. This year with the birth rights, it's not gonna affect African Americans. It's gonna affect a lot of Latinos more than African Americans, and this is actually based on African Americans, as she said, based on the history. It's just crazy. You cannot even make this up. It's just, I don't even understand. I really want to know who these Latinos are that voted for Donald Trump. Why? And there's another clip from the video where the guy was like, oh, I didn't vote for Donald Trump I couldn't vote last time, but I would have voted for Donald Trump because I was an illegal immigrant, and now he isn't. But he voted for Donald Trump this time. That's the only thing I have to say. And this is crazy. It's just, again, not that crazy thing. But I really like how she explained the history of African Americans and the whole history of slavery, which is crazy. But a lot of things, and I've seen things like, remember when this was, but someone said something, because I'm Danish, someone from them, I can't even remember what it was, where it was saying something like, America's crazy, this and that. I was like, yeah, it's true. And they was like, oh, well, good, that things are not like that here. I can't even remember the whole context of that. Basically saying that Denmark's different, Denmark's not influenced by America. Denmark is very much influenced by America. And you can see it with the different pronouns and that whole thing that has come to them as well. I've never seen a person that is within that category of, let me not say category because I don't like the word category, but that whole thing with the pronouns, I've never seen that in Denmark before. But here in Australia, I've actually seen it, so I think it's more like, you could see it, it's more prevalent here in Australia. So let's move on to the next thing. So the next thing is, here are some potentially illegal things Trump has done just 1 week into his presidency, and I'm gonna shut up the melody because I feel like that you don't need that. So birthright citizenship. Trump accused of orders to end birthright citizenship, a law that grants citizenship to anyone born in the U.S., but immediately struck down by a judge because the right is guaranteed under the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, but who reads that old document anyway? And that is what she talked about in the previous video. And another thing that is crazy is Donald Trump questioned Native Americans' birthright to citizenship. You cannot make this shit up. Like, oh my god. Birthright to citizenship. It's crazy. It's so crazy. I don't understand. How do you confidently vote for a man like Donald Trump? And there's a lot of things that probably led to people voting for Donald Trump, which we will get into as well, but it's just crazy. But our outbreaks around the US have been reportedly conducted without warrants, which is against the law. Trump has also permitted ICE to raid schools, hospitals, and churches, which many argue violates the 4th Amendment, which protects people from unreasonable searches and seizures. And these are happening, and it's happening at schools, and I have a clip of that, and it's crazy. It's a traumatic experience for the kids, also the teachers at school. What is going to happen? Are they going to show up for work teaching the math class, and then all of a sudden the little cute guy from Mexico is getting arrested? What is this? What is going on? And another thing is that when they take the kid from school, it's because they want to get a hold of the illegal immigrants that are parents. And when I say illegal immigrants, some of them have not done the proper way of getting into the country, but some of them, but at the same time, I'm just like, some of these people that comes from Mexico are fleeing from Mexico. It's not like Mexico, even though Mexico is a beautiful country and it's rich of culture, there's a lot of the ghetto side of Mexico's ghetto puts the word in ghetto. The definition of ghetto in Mexico is really dangerous. The horrific stories I've heard of Mexico is crazy. So people are actually fleeing from Mexico. It's not a joke. So now, next step is 517th government watchdogs. I don't even know what that is, but let's read it out. Trump fired at least 7 Senate confirmed inspector generals who were responsible for holding the government accountable. Lawmakers have joined together to say that their actions violate law. That's because it's required by law for the White House to give Congress a 30-day notice beforehand. Declared two sexes only. This thing, declared two sexes only, is not applied to me because I'm a he/him. I might be gay, but I he him. Okay, so it doesn't really apply to me. Let's get that clear out of the way. Declared two sexes only. Trump's executive order directs federal agencies to exclude transgender people when enforcing laws that protect against sex discrimination, but the Supreme Court found that discrimination against transgender people is a form of sex discrimination. Crazy. And this will happen. This will happen. All the way back to when COVID happened, and I saw how woke people were trending within the LGBTQIA community. I just knew that this would probably happen because the wrong people were being heard, and I said that in my previous video. A lot of the wrong people was being heard and which shouldn't have been heard, because with all these movements, it's basically just highlighting how certain things in just modern society and where people are being overlooked should be treated with more respect. And I get that, and I'm totally stand behind it. With the whole movement of they, them, and the different pronouns, I'm full support of that because it takes to be extreme to be heard. And I really like that we are more open to seeing people for who they are and not just putting them in a box based on the sex sign at birth. And we really are more open to seeing a lot of things, like being from Denmark. Other people would all of a sudden think that I'm into basketball, and basketball and that whole thing is like an American thing. I'm not African American, Scandinavian country, so I don't understand why you think I would be into basketball. But so that way it really opens people up to really get to know you for who you are instead of just putting you or seeing you in from a straight view, if that makes sense. So I like the movement because of that, but also, as I said, a lot of people that have been heard, and this is why we are moving. I mean, this when it comes to two sexes only, which I do agree on. I will say that, but that's more to it than just that. But yeah, it's only the order also instructs DHS to ignore the Prison Rape Elimination Act and force transgender prison inmates to be placed based on sex assigned at birth. And yeah, this because a lot of men that did something illegal will get arrested, and then they'll try to not end up in a prison for men, even though they're men themselves. But they're straight, and then if they just tell the officer, oh, well, I identify as a woman, then they would, during this time, the last 4 years, they will get into a prison for women, and then they will assault women, and that is the consequences of that. So if that whole thing would not been able to happen the last 4 years, we wouldn't be in this situation right now, where there are actually trans women that would like to be in a prison for women to feel safe and protected, and they cannot do that anymore because of men that have take advantage of the rule and for their own benefit in some disgusting weird way. Yeah. Okay, laws in the Mass Department of Government Efficiency has reportedly broken a 50-year-old law. The Federal Advisory Committee Act requires advisories that all DACHI meetings, including those conducted throughout electronics, be open to the public. A newly formed group has been using the encrypted messaging app Signal. Crazy. Trump administration is already facing more than half a dozen legal challenges. Ultimately, Trump is testing the bounds of law and the Constitution to see just how far it can go. Republicans cannot claim to be the party of law and order any longer. Listen, this is not gonna be the last thing we're gonna hear from Donald Trump. That's gonna be crazy. And I have another clip for why I think this, and we are gonna see that as well. But move on to the next one. This is the ICE raid, and there's no audio. TikTok removed audio, which is weird. I don't know what's going on with that, but this is ICE at a school. They're all on their knees with hands up, and they're probably there to get some kids that might have citizenship in America, but the parents might not have citizenship, and therefore are illegal immigrants, so they are getting the kids, so for them to get the parents. And yeah, it's sad. But look how they're showing up the guns and everything. It's so crazy. This is like real life events. It's so crazy. I don't even know what to say. Yeah. I don't think we need to see any more of that. So now we're gonna see the full President Trump signs Lake and Riley Act into law. I've not seen this 31-minute clip, but I know that there are a lot of people that have what's it called, reacted to it, shared clips of it, and it's been online, so we're gonna see what that is about. But yeah. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen in this clip, but we are gonna learn together. So let's see what Donald Trump has to say.
Thank you very much. Please, thank you very much. Before we begin, I want to provide a brief report on the unprecedented success our country has been witnessing in recent weeks. Since even before the election, we've been making extraordinary progress. The American people gave us a clear mandate to save our country, and we won all 7 swing states by large margins, historic. Very importantly, we won the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. Also, all 50 states, as you know, shifted toward the Republican Party, and that's never happened before. All 50, every single one of them. In our first week in office, we set records, taking over 350 executive actions. That's not been done before. And it has reportedly been the single most effective opening week of any presidency in history. And we want to keep it that way. We want to keep it going. We want to keep it going. And we've broken from decades of failed Washington policies and restored common sense and sanity to our government. We've unleashed American
He's so crazy. He's so crazy. How can you say that with the
energy, and we've already achieved record low illegal immigration. As you see, there's nobody trying to get in. And that's what we've been waiting for a long time, and gotten woke ideologies out of our government and out of our military. The water has now begun flowing in California as we continue to increase the flow in coming days. Nobody's seen anything like that, and I've also taken strong action to regain control of the Washington bureaucracy. Just for clarification purposes, because it was incorrectly reported yesterday, we have informed the federal workforce, which they've looked to do for many years, that if they're working for the federal government, they must show up to the office on time and on schedule. We don't want them to work from home because, as everyone knows, most of the time they're not working.
You know what? That tie is a little bit too blue for his eyes. He actually dominates the eyes, so it makes him look a little bit more dull around his eyes. So that tie doesn't really do any well for him. That's actually what I was seeing, because everything else that he's been saying is like out of pocket dumb shit. I don't even know what to say. It's not making any sense. And one thing I've learned, when you hear people talk like that, don't even try to make sense of what they're saying, because it's not sense, and it's just gonna make you dumber.
Not very productive, and it's unfair to the millions of people in the United States who are in fact working hard from job sites and not from their home. As federal employees, they must meet a high standard. They're representing our government, they're representing our country. If they don't agree by February 6th to show up back to work in their office, they will be terminated, and we will therefore be downscaling our government, which is something that the last 10 presidents have tried very hard to do but failed. Most of the people we're talking about have not been going to their federal offices in many, many years, from even before COVID. But they have nevertheless been paid. Some have worked, some haven't worked, and most of the studies say that some have just gone through the motions. We may ask these people to prove that they didn't have another job during their so-called employment with the United States of America, because if they did, that would be unlawful, as you understand. A lot of people.
I could see that happening. I'm not gonna lie. He's not wrong about that. He's not wrong about that. I could see that happening. And I've seen some people talk about that before. That on that side of the coin. But yeah.
are getting paychecks, but they're actually working other jobs. So they'll have to prove that to us that they weren't. In any event, we're requiring them to show up to work or be terminated. We think a very substantial number of people will not show up to work, and therefore our government will get smaller and more efficient, and that's what we've been looking to do for many, many decades, frankly. In addition, there was a short-term pause.
That mouth, that lip, like, get some lip filler, dude. He has so much fat and pus in his body. He could get that put into his lips. Just give it a little bit more fullness, because the things that he's saying is very much like, they could be hurtful for a lot of people. And they're gonna be hurtful for a lot of people. And it's just gonna ease the message of what he's trying to say. If he just has something put in, like the pus from the side of his body, the body handles, the love handles, the pus of that, put into his lips will help the situation. A little bit of less of the orange, the tan, and that toupee refreshing with the color. Because it's very much white at the tips, very much like an odd yellow at the bottom of the roots. And it's not giving natural, it's just giving fake. We know you're having a toupee, you know what I mean? Like, just even it out, soften your looks, the pus around the eyes. Go to, like, you know, one of the doctors from Batch, from E. Like, go to one of them and ask them, what can you do with the puffy eyes? Like, make it a little bit more soft. Don't wear a tie that's that blue. It's gonna dominate your eyes, because your eyes are very much dull. Okay? It's like
or funding freeze
like
on certain discretionary spending payments, such as government grants, only for us to quickly look at the scams, dishonesty, waste, and abuse that's taken place in our government for too long. As was explicitly stated, this in no way affected Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, or other entitlements that Americans depend on. I've made abundantly clear from the very first day that I ran from office, that was a long time ago now, that's 2015. If you think about it, I announced in 2015 and we won in 2016. We did very well in 2020, but we did really well just recently. And I'm restating right now to correct any confusion that the media has purposely and somehow, for whatever reason, created Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid have not been affected by any action we're taking in any way, shape, or form. We are merely looking at parts of the big bureaucracy where there has been tremendous waste and fraud and abuse. In that process, we identified and stopped $50 million being sent to Gaza to buy condoms for Hamas. 50 million. And you know what's happened to them? They've used them as a method of making bombs. How about that? We stopped an attempt to make an illicit payment for illegal alien resettlement. We canceled $181 million in DEI training contracts. This is just for the training of people in DEI, which has been terminated and completely terminated. And we paused $1.7 billion in unauthorized payments to foreign organizations, including stopping more than $40 million that was on its way out the door to the very corrupt World Health Organization, which has not done its job and not done it properly. We also blocked $45 million for diversity scholarships in Burma. 45, that's a lot of money for diversity scholarships in Burma. You can imagine where that money went. These were the types of payments, and many others. I could stand here all day and tell you things that we found, and we have to find them quickly because we want the money to flow to proper places. But these were the payments and types of payments affected by the temporary freeze, and the American people strongly support these efforts. I talked about it during the campaign, and they voted for us in record numbers. Every single day we're now putting America first and fighting to get the most out of every single tax dollar for our great citizens. We've gathered this afternoon to take another historic action. However, in a few moments, the Laken-Riley Act will become the very first bill that I proudly sign into law as the 47th President of the United States.
Let's look up that, because what is the Laken-Riley Act? Laken Riley Act. Meaning, the Laken Riley Act is a United States law that requires the U.S. Department of Homeland Security to detain illegal Americans to admitting to charge with or convicted of death-related crimes, assaulting a police officer, or a crime that results in death or serious bodily injury like drunk driving. Yeah. When you know how the police are in America, this is not a good thing.
Laken was a brilliant and beautiful 22-year-old nursing student from Georgia, the best in her class. She was always the best. They would say, Laken, how do you do this? And what do you do? They were always asking her questions. She was respected by everybody, even her teachers. They respected her so much. From the time she was in first grade, Laken knew she wanted to spend her time caring for others. That's what she did. To her friends and classmates, she was a light of warmth and kindness in every single room. To her parents and family, she was everything in the world. They've had a miserable period of time. Just after 9 a.m. last February 22nd, Laken went out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia, but she was just never returned. She never came back, did she, huh? Parents are here, sister, of her relatives. While on her run, Laken was attacked, viciously assaulted, beaten, brutalized, and murdered by an illegal alien gang member who was set loose into our country by the last administration.
No.
We are deeply honored to be joined today by Laken's parents, Allison and John, and her sister, Lauren. Thank you very much. So sad. We were together right after that happened,
This
and
man-
it's...
This man is a psychopath. This man is such a psychopath because he doesn't give a shit about them. He honestly, wholeheartedly do not give a shit about them. He doesn't give a flying shit about them. Everything that he's done, all the crimes that he's done, just prove that he doesn't give a shit about them. He sees this as an opportunity for his benefit, and people are just buying into it, and I don't understand it. It is sad whatever happened to this girl. Like, it is sad what happened to a lot of kids that shouldn't happen. But trying to make tying it up to being like, oh, illegal immigrants, and this is what illegal immigrants do. There are probably a lot of illegal immigrants that are there that are doing things that they shouldn't do, that should make them be behind bars or sent out of the country. But at the end of the day, America has lots more things that they need to sort out than illegal immigrants. I feel like they have a lot more they need to sort out. And I actually saw another clip where a lot of unfinished houses that was getting built weren't getting finished because the people that was working on those houses were illegal immigrants. So they got sent out of the country and now they cannot finish the houses. So there are going to be a lot of houses that are unfinished and not built, and that's going to be a reflection of the economy, and we're going to see the downfall of that. And that's another clip I saw that I cannot find now. I don't know if it got put down or whatever, but he basically said that everything that Joe Biden did in his time, if Trump just would have let everything just be as it was and not revoke all the laws and not do the whole thing with ICE and the illegal immigrants and stuff like that, he could have just claimed the success of Joe Biden during his time, the aftermath of that. He could just claim that and just been doing the entertainment that he loves doing, because a lot of the things that Donald Trump does is entertainment. Donald Trump likes to entertain people, and that's why he's had his own reality program. That is why he as successful that he has been beforehand. Because this man is successful, but he's successful because of his last name. He's a Nepo baby. And he has been able to do certain business deals that have failed, a lot of them. And that documentary about that has been made before his even presidency, before he even run up to presidency, about Donald Trump, that people just seem to ignore. But that's it. Because of his last name, he's a Nepo baby. Because of that, he's been able to do businesses that have failed. Some have succeeded. I'm not gonna take that away from him. Some have succeeded, but a lot of them have also failed. And he's been able to claim the money of that, and that's why he is as successful as he is, because of his last name. as well as his daughter Ivanka Trump. She's successful because of her last name. It has nothing to do with him actually being a good businessman. He's just good at convincing people. That's what he's good at. He's good at entertaining people. That man has been on Jeffrey Epstein's island so many times, and no one is batting an eye. They are focusing on Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey is talking about spiritual shit. Like, get a grip of when they have been dealing with her weight loss for the last 40 years. We've been talking about spiritual shit. And you guys worry about her, but you guys are not worried about Donald Trump that's gonna run the country. Oh. America is the ones that are support this man is gonna feel the heat of that. And they're gonna regret it, and they're not gonna even talk about how they were Trump supporters. They're not going to talk about it.
A tremendous tribute to your daughter, what's taking place today. That's all I can say. But it's so sad we have to be doing it at all. Thank you very much for being here. To Laken's family, we will keep Laken's memory alive in our hearts forever, everyone's hearts. With today's action, her name will also live forever in the laws of our country. And this is a very important law. This is something that has brought Democrats and Republicans together. That's not easy to do. Laken did it. Laken did it. America will never, ever forget Laken Hope Riley. The vicious criminal who murdered Precious Laken was an illegal alien member of the barbaric Venezuelan prison gang known as Tren de Aragua. He trespassed across our southern border in 2022 and was apprehended by Border Patrol, but under the cruel policies of the last administration, instead of being deported, as he should have been, he was released into the United States, as were millions of other people, many of them very dangerous people. And you see what we're doing, we're getting them the hell out of here. Soon arrested again in New York City on charges of endangering a child, but because of New York City's deadly sanctuary policies, as we have in California and many other places, which we're going to end them, he was released again to reoffend. The Biden administration then provided this illegal alien criminal with a free, taxpayer-funded flight from New York to Georgia, where he was arrested yet again, constantly, this time for stealing from a Walmart along with his gang member brother, who was a bad one. Only after being released a third time by the U.S. law enforcement did this cold-blooded criminal go out in that fateful morning hunting for women on whom to prey. That's what he did. He hunted. It was like a hunter. And we're going to show him who the hunter is. This horrific atrocity should never have been allowed to happen. And as president, I'm fighting every single day to ensure that such a tragedy never happens again. We don't want this to happen. And under the law, thank you. Under the law I'm signing today, the Department of Homeland Security will be required to detain all illegal aliens who have been arrested for theft, burglary, larceny, shoplifting, assaulting a police officer, murder, or any crime that results in death or serious injury. In addition, for the first time ever, this act gives state governments the ability to sue the federal government for immediate injunctive relief if any future administration ever again refuses to enforce the immigration laws of the United States, like happened for 4 long years. And that was happening for 4 long years, frightful years. Amazing. You'd say, how can people do this? How can they allow this to happen? How can they allow criminals to pour into our country and then try and defend it? And they're still trying to defend it, but they can't. That's why I'm here instead of somebody else, actually. It's the biggest reason. I believe it's the single biggest reason. Inflation was horrible. Many things were horrible during that administration. When you look at what took place in Afghanistan, the way they got out, not that they got out, but the way so many things were horrible. But to me, this was...
Here's the thing. I will say with the... Here's the thing. I feel like I got these like pageant answers to some of these things, but at the same time, you cannot make certain things that he's saying seem like this crazy, because there are some things that are not crazy. Okay? There needs to be more control of the borders. There needs to be more control of the borders, but in the way that the people that are actually fleeing can actually flee, because Mexico, the other countries that they're coming from are not safe. Me being from Denmark, I wouldn't flee to America. What am I fleeing for? I wouldn't even be approved to be fleeing to America. Do you know what I mean? Based on where I'm from. At the same thing, if I could like be an immigrant in Australia, I'll be an immigrant in Australia right now. But I cannot, because I'm from Denmark. If we're really gonna put things up against each other, I'm better off being just in Denmark compared to being in Australia. So I get what he's saying with like control of the borders, but I also feel like he takes certain things to the next level. But again, proven from America's history, you need to be extreme, you need to be out there for people to actually listen to you, and I feel like he's just doing that. Even though I don't like this man, I fully feel like there should be someone else doing this with a much kinder loving heart than this man, because he's gonna mess up a lot of things. I don't think a lot of people don't understand that yet, but he's gonna do that.
The worst of all, it's a landmark law that we're doing today. It's going to save countless innocent American lives. I want to thank every House Republican, every Senate Republican, as well as the 12 Senate Democrats and the 48 House Democrats who voted to pass this vitally important bill, and many of them are with us today, and I really do appreciate it. And I very much especially appreciate the bipartisan support. The Democrats, really a big percentage of them came through, and plenty of them wanted to. They probably felt they couldn't, but they really wanted to. That they don't understand that would have made them a lot more popular, would have made them a lot better with their people. The ones that didn't are going to be, they're going to be sorry, because the people are not going to forget that they wouldn't sign. This is a perfect, incredible tribute to an unbelievable young lady. We're joined today by many great supporters of our new strong border policies, and they are indeed strong, including Vice President Vance, thank you, JD, the Secretary Scott Bessent, who just got approved, by the way. Where's Scott? He just got approved. Scott, I'm very impressed. Got a lot of Democrat votes, too. He got a lot of Democrat votes. That's great. I don't know, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'll have to think about that. Secretary of Homeland Security, who's going to be fantastic. I know her so well, and I know it's probably not complimentary because she is a woman, but she is tough. Where is she? Where is Christy? Christy. Great. Stand up, please. You have such an important job to do.
Let's see you, Christy. Let's see you, baby. So we can recognize you.
Really great. Thank you very much. And don't let that look fool you. That look is, she's tough, and she cannot stand what she's having to sit here and even listen to this today. Another one who's done a job like nobody that I've seen in a long time. Tom Homan, he's my friend, but he is something special. He's something special. Right. And Tom and Christy, the numbers are unbelievable. What's happened? It's like just shut down. Nobody thought that was even possible. It's just shut down. They showed an area that a year ago had thousands and thousands of people rushing into our country, and today there was nobody there. It was like a beautiful sight. And also Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso, great guy. Thank you, John. And I also want to thank the bill sponsors, Senator Katie Britt. Katie, thank you, Katie. Mike Collins and Mike, you were fantastic, from Georgia State, and he took this very personally. Chairman Chuck Grassley. Chuck is here someplace. Chuck, thank you very much. You look great. Special man. Very much. Thank you, Mark. This is about your daughter. This is about something that's so important, and we're going to just go along. Thank you also. We have to say Burt Jones is in the room, and Burt is your lieutenant governor, and he was on this like you wouldn't believe. Thank you very much. I see you sitting there. Thank you very much. Local officials, we have law enforcement organizations, we have everybody. Most of them are in the room or represented in the room, and they're incredible people, and I've never seen them come together like they have for this. I've done many of these, not of this kind but different bills, different passages having to do with many different things, from homeland security to inner security to taxes to 50 different items. I've never seen such support as you have today and as your great daughter has today. So I've never seen anything like it. And we have to thank your daughter for that, because she's going to save a lot of lives. She's going to be responsible for saving a lot of lives. So I'd like to just say to the Angel families, I've been with them and they've been with me from 2015 when I first got this crazy idea in my head to run for president because we can do better as a country. I want to thank so many of the people that are here that have been the Angel moms, and we call them Angel moms, but they're Angel families, fathers and sons and daughters, but they've suffered tremendously like you have for no reason whatsoever. I want to thank Alexis Nungari, the mother of 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungari, murdered last summer by 2 illegal alien gang members released into the United States by Joe Biden's open border stupid policies. And thank you very much, Alexis. I want to thank you very much. We had an amazing trip, and it was really special to meet you and your family. Appreciate it very much. So sad we have to be here, frankly. And Jocelyn, as you know, is in our hearts as she was then. It was an amazing day we had, a great day. But it was a day of celebration of somebody that unfortunately won't be with us. But she is with us now, you know that. Here also is Patty Morin, the mother of Rachel Morin, killed 2 years ago by an illegal alien who was let into our country by the last administration's ridiculous, weak policies. Open border, can you imagine? When I heard open border, I said, oh, that's terrible. They're going to release their prisons all over the world. They're going to release their prisons into our country. That's exactly what happened. Patty is joined by Rachel's brother, Michael, Rachel's daughter, Clementine, and sister-in-law, Shannon. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. With us as well is the loving family of Kayla Hamilton, a 20-year-old girl murdered in July 2022 by the MS-13 illegal alien gang member who is violent, vicious, and they knew it, and they didn't do anything about it. And I want to thank you to Kayla's mother, Tammy, and her grandmother, Kathy, and her stepfather, Jeremiah, very much. And finally, I want to thank others who have also suffered this horrible scourge that goes on with young people being killed, and other people too, but young people, largely young people being killed. Thank you to Scott Root, the father of Sarah Root, killed at 21 years of age. Think of that, 21, by an illegal alien. Shouldn't have been in our country, would have never been in our country if we were here. What a sad thing. To each of these Angel families, we love you and we stand in awe of your courage and your strength. It's the toughest thing anybody has to go through. Many of the Angel families here today were betrayed by the last administration, and with this heartless and foolish and really very, very arrogant and very, very dumb policies that aren't even believable when you talk about common sense. I say we're the party of common sense, but the Democrats also, they have plenty of common sense, and that's why so many are here today and so many supported what we're doing. The very government that was supposed to protect their daughters instead opened our borders and transported the world's most dangerous criminals straight into their communities. They came from prisons and jails and insane asylums and mental institutions from all over the world, not just South America. People think South America. They come from all over the world. They come from every continent. And they came here by plane, and they were loaded onto buses, and they were driven right up to our border, and they drove right through the border, and nobody even said a word to them. And in those buses and those cars and those trucks were some of the meanest criminals anywhere in the world. As of last September, 425,000 illegal alien criminals were roaming free, including 13,099 convicted illegal alien murderers, of which about almost 50% killed more than one person, and they were roaming all over the country in our farms, in our cities. Under the Trump administration, we're moving with urgency and speed to get these vicious and violent criminals the hell out of our country and to restore law and order to our suburbs, our cities, and our towns. And we're going to do it with Tom and with Christy and with all of the people that are working so hard on this. This week, compared to a comparable time a year ago, think of this, the number of illegal border crossers has already fallen by more than 100%. And because the election was coming, they started getting a little bit tougher on the border. They tried to follow our policies, and they did much better, but it still was horrible. The numbers were still horrible, so that's 100% over those. They only did it because of the election, so they knew what they were doing was wrong. And those who do cross the border, and you're seeing that every time, all you have to do is turn on your television set or pick up a newspaper, or read any form of new media, because we have a lot of new media today, fortunately, that's letting the word get out. But they're watching these people be captured and removed from our country. ICE arrests have risen by 15 times in just a short period. And over the past 8 days, the heroes of ICE and Border Patrol, we can never forget Border Patrol. Those people, I've gotten to know so many of them. Our border czar, as you remember, never went to the border and never made a phone call. She was the border czar. She never made one phone call. They went to the heads of the border. They went to the heads of ICE. Did you ever get a call? No. And she admitted she never made one call, but she was the border czar. And that's exactly what our border was all about. The heroes of ICE have arrested thousands and thousands of illegal alien criminals, including hundreds of gang members, traffickers, child predators, terrorists, and murderers. For the first time in history, we're loading dangerous and illegal aliens into military aircraft and flying them back to the places from which they came. You probably read about Colombia 2 days ago. They said, no, we're not taking them. I said, we're going to take them. You're going to take them. You're going to like it, too. You're going to take them. Talked about we're not going to take people that are in shackles. I said, well, but the people that are in shackles are murderers. They're drug lords. They're rapists. They're very tough people. They make our criminals look like very nice people. That's about the only thing that comes out of this. And I say, could you imagine you're a pilot on the plane and you have your co-pilot and you're sitting there and you have 150 people, no shackles, and they like to murder people? This would not be a good flight. So Colombia apologized to us profusely within an hour based on something I said, meaning you're going to pay tariffs like nobody's ever paid tariffs before, but they actually wanted to terminate his position. They're essentially Congress met and they were very angry with them, but they actually said they were going to send the presidential plane to pick up these criminals and to bring them because they didn't want to inconvenience us or have us do a second flight, and that's what they did. And I appreciate it, and I do appreciate the people of Colombia are wonderful people, and the representatives really acted well, and I appreciated they took back that tough talk. But, we may have tough talk from others, but it's not going to mean anything. They're going to all take them back, and they're going to like it, too. They're going to like it. They're going to take it back, and they're going to like it. Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because...
Okay, so I've seen this clip circling around. I've not seen the clips, but I know that must be something behind the Guantanamo Bay, I think what it's called. Let's see what that is. Guantanamo Bay. Why does the U.S. have Guantanamo Bay? The United States first seized Guantanamo Bay and established a naval base in 1898 during the Spanish-American War in the Battle of Guantanamo Bay. In 1903, the United States and Cuba signed a lease granting the United States permission to use the land as a coaling and naval station. Okay, then there's an article where it says Guantanamo deportations was Trump's plan. Why is it controversial? The U.S. president must send unauthorized immigrants to Guantanamo Bay, a prison notarized for the abuse of inmates. Will his plan work? Okay, I found something here. Here's a look at the U.S. naval base and its history. U.S. President Donald Trump signs the Lake Riley Act during an event in the East Room of the White House Wednesday, January 29, 2025 in Washington. During the ceremony, he announced plans to reopen the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center, after the U.S. government used the facility, while the American Naval Base in Cuba is best known for the suspects brought in after the September 11, 2001 attacks. It also has a separate facility used for decades to hold migrants. The migrant operation tends to host those detained at sea, mainly from Haiti and Cuba. Oh, I didn't know that. The non-profit International Refugee Assistance Project said in a report last year that the migrants are held in prison-like conditions. It said migrants that were trapped in a punitive system indefinitely with no accountability for the officials running it. The U.S. has leased Guantanamo from Cuba for more than a century. Cuba opposes the lease and typically rejects the nominal U.S. rent payments.
When I'm coming back, so we're going to send them out to Guantanamo. This will double our capacity immediately, right? And that's a tough place to get out of. Today's signings bring us one step closer to eradicating the scourge of migrant crime in our communities once and for all. And it was just it's just an unforced error that we even have to be doing this. Now we need Congress to provide full funding for the complete and total restoration of our sovereign borders, as well as financial support. I said everybody that's bad is going to be thrown. If you look at Venezuela's crime is down 77% because they've taken their gang members, their prisoners, their drug dealers, their drug lords, shipped them all into the United States. Many other countries, their crime is way down, and our crime is not doing well. But we're going to have it do really well very soon, and we're shipping all these people back where they came from. And now, before I sign the Laken Riley Act into law, I would like to ask Laken's really incredible mother, who I've gotten to know. A very sad day I got to know her. But this is an amazing tribute to an amazing young person. And if you could come up, Allison, and say a few words, that would be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Trump. We would like to thank Senator Katie Britt for her diligent bipartisan work to get this bill through the Senate. We'd also like to thank Congressman Mike Collins for his unwavering passion and for leading on the Laken Riley Act from the start. Our family will forever be grateful for the prayers of the people across our nation and for helping to get this legislation into law. We also want to thank President Trump for the promises he made to us. He said he would secure our borders and that he would never forget about Laken. And he hasn't. He's a man of his word. We trust that he will fight for the American people. Most importantly, I want to thank our Lord and Savior, Jesus. Thank you.
I'm going to sign this in honor of Laken Riley. Come on up here, some of the people that we love who have been so instrumental. Okay?
So that was it for this video, guys. I don't have anything more to say. I feel like I've said a lot of things in this video and crazy. See you guys in my next video. Bye.